Have you ever looked in the mirror and thought, I don't recognize myself anymore? Not just how you look, but how you feel in your body, how you show up with your family, how you eat, how you move, how you sleep, and how reactive you've become in your day to day. If you've been stuck in that cycle of trying every plan, maybe this one will work for me, maybe it's this rule over here, but you never actually feel better, this episode is for you. I'm sharing something I've never talked in depth about on the podcast before, my program, Mindfully Well, and all the changes we've made, which is open for enrollment this week. And I'm not just going to give you a sales pitch, I'm going to take you behind the scenes to show you exactly why this approach is different, who it's for, and honestly, who it's not for. Because if you're tired of being told what to eat, when to eat, how to live your life, how to do this, how to add more stuff to your to-do list, and you're also tired of just feeling disconnected from your own body, stick around because this conversation, it's going to change everything. Hey everyone, I'm so excited to talk with you today about something that's been years in the making. Mindfully Well has actually been around for 3 years. However, I have recently made some major adjustments to the program and have made it, if I could say, better. It's like 10, 50, 100 times better because I've always wanted to get to the root cause of your issues. And so now we're going even deeper into that root cause. And so I'm so excited to share with you what Mindfully Well is all about today. And just so you know, enrollment is open. You can head to the show notes at any point and schedule a clarity call with me or read more details about the program. And you can also go to my website, mindfullywell.com/mindfully well. And I really created the changes for Mindfully Well for the woman who was just like me. This came from all of my struggles, as has all of the programs I've ever created, but also what I saw in every single client, which I've coached probably thousands, honestly, at this point. I wish I had kept track for all these years, but when I look at the amount of clients in my portal now compared to, I've switched portals, it has to be over 1,000 by now. But all of what I went through and what I saw my clients go through and what we fought against ourselves and our bodies the entire time while we were trying to become healthier bodies. And it finally got to a point where I'm like, this doesn't make sense anymore to do it this way. The most common thing when somebody reaches out to me or schedules a call with me is that they say is that I just don't recognize myself anymore. And not only how you look in the mirror, but really how you feel in your body. Also, how you act towards yourself and oftentimes towards your family. And this is just you feel chaotic in your body and you act chaotic in your life. And so that action of chaos looks like you know what to eat, but you don't do it. You know how to move your body, but you don't do it. You know how you want to be during the day, how you want to feel during the day, but you just can't seem to generate that feeling. And you will often take it out on your loved ones, being reactive, and you're just really just trying to survive throughout your day. And and all of this contributes to that feeling of like, I just don't feel like I understand this body of mine. This body doesn't feel like mine anymore. This body is working against me. And you start to feel very confused about what to do because you really want to escape this body. It's super uncomfortable to be in it, but you don't know what to do anymore because you know all the things, but none of the things seem to be working, or you're not consistent at it to know if it's working, and you just feel fed up. And here's what I've learned after working with lots and lots of women is that in the past, you've always looked to diets as the answers to your problems or the solutions to your problem. However, those diets are driving you to feel worse because they thrive on perfectionism, rules, and restriction. And I'm going to talk in a little bit more deeply on what diets really are, because many times we join a program and it says, this isn't a dieting program, this is a lifestyle program. But if we broke it down, it truly is a dieting program because it comes with lots of rules. It comes with some restrictions. It comes with very obvious structure. And I'm not saying any of those are necessarily wrong, but if that's the only thing they're giving you, then what they're giving you is just a different box with a different label, but it's still a diet, right? We got to call a spade a spade. If it's just a prettier box, but we're putting lifestyle on the box instead of diet, but it's the same thing on the inside, we got to be honest about this. And the strict structure, the restriction, the perfectionism is really driving you to feel worse in your body. It's the true reason why you don't feel good in your body now. The reason we have hormonal imbalances after 35, the reason why we have gut issues, the reason why we're chronically stressed is because of what those diets and that conditioning of perfectionism has done to our bodies. And that is why we feel the way we feel in our bodies today. And so we're trying to find solutions to the way we feel, but the solutions are actually the problems. And that's where I really want you to be able to see things differently in this episode today. Mindfully Well is very different from other programs because it's a program that helps you connect to your body instead of disconnect from your body. All other programs, plans, coaches, they tell you what to do, how to do it, what to eat, when to eat, how much, all of those, type of structure that we think we want and we think we need. And honestly, it feels very safe to have that given to you when you join a program, right? But the truth is that you've done that before, and you've done that many and many a times before, and yet you've never actually found the answer. So could it be that that's not the actual solution? What if the answer is being able to be connected to your body and understanding your unique, beautiful body, what it actually needs versus someone else telling you what you need? In Mindfully Well, I do educate you on what creates hormonal balance in the female body after 35, right? Real science-backed information. I'm not doing my due diligence there. And also how to regulate your nervous system to ultimately feel safe in your body, because these are the real things that create change in your body. But beyond that, this is also a program that somatically helps you connect to your body. And just for reference, when I use a word like somatic, it sounds very fancy and like woo woo out there. Somatic just means body based. And the reason why I have moved to more of a somatic type of coaching where we still do mindset coaching, but we also need to do body based coaching because we're trying to make changes at the body level, and we're trying to do it by outthinking our body. And that's not going to work because your body has so much wisdom stored in it. It's just stored in a different language. Our mind thinks in words and thoughts, right? That we can communicate to another person. Our body communicates in body language and communicates in symptoms and in feelings and emotions. And if we're going to expect change at the body level, I think we should probably start trying to understand what our body is telling us, right? We can't outthink our body. We have to involve our body in the conversation of our health, and that's been completely left behind. We have for some reason, have thought that we can just outthink our body and we can think our way into health, and that has proven to not be true. And when we are able to understand our body and somatically connect and understand what our body really needs, what we're able to do is be able to follow through and build the autonomy that we really want in our health. So in Mindfully Well, we focus a lot on nervous system regulation. And what this just means is your resiliency to stress. Stress is going to happen in your life. That is not something that is ever going to go away, nor does it need to go away. But the resiliency around stress does need to be improved. The regulation of your nervous system does need to be improved. And this is the starting point, because when we don't do that work first, we're going to take action from dysregulation or a heightened stress state. And that will always be a reactive state This is our primal brain, our brain that just wants to survive right now, doesn't really care about the future, doesn't care about anything else besides survival and comfort right now, which means we're in a sympathetic nervous state and we can't make sound decisions from that state, right? That's a state that is thinking survival now only. That's not one that is making like very conscious choices. We make sound decisions from a rest and digest state or a parasympathetic state. And that's also where our body heals. And that's also where our body makes hormones. And that's also when our body sleeps well and restores well. And these are all the missing points that we're trying to find. And we're doing it from a dysregulated place, which doesn't make any sense. So, if we're going to come into this by creating more rules and following strict plans, and by having someone tell us exactly what to do, how to do it, when to breathe, what to eat, what to weigh, we're doing this from a dysregulated state and hyper micromanagement. But when we come in and we can regulate our bodies first and create that resiliency, we allow our bodies to calm down. We allow ourselves to feel less stress and more ease. And now we're able to bring in information in a calm way. Let it arrive, let it settle in, and then we take action from a very calm state. One of the things I'm most excited for this round of Mindfully Well is that I have created something called the first 30 days. And it's a small group cohort, and so you'll have lots of attention. But what this does is it really primes you for the rest of the program and to be highly successful in a shorter amount of time of the program. It really removes the rules that you've been living by. And we have to do this work first. Many women don't believe they're dieters, right? So you might be listening to this saying, but I don't diet, but I've never really been somebody who follows diets. But I want you to think about some of these things that I'm going to be talking about that might indicate to you that you have some sort of dieting, or we can also call you a perfectionist, right? Both of them have very similar attributes. And it's the number one thing that comes up in my coaching with my clients. It's the number one point of resistance that many women aren't aware that this is why they're doing those things. And it's because you've always been told that things should be a certain way. It should be perfect. If it's not 100%, it's not worth your energy. And we really need to remove those conditioning rules before we can start to lay down the real ways that we want to be living as a healthy woman in this body. And the second thing that we focus on in the first 30 days is really understanding how food feels in our body. Many times we just follow rules when it comes to food. Just tell me what to eat, when to eat, how to eat it. I'll do it, right? And then that lasts a few days, and then you're off into a different issue, and it doesn't work that way. But when we take time to actually acknowledge how certain foods feel in our body, how much the food feels in our body, if it gives us energy, if it takes away our energy, if it makes digestion better or worse, we're able to make those connections ourselves. And that's the first part of creating autonomy with your eating. And we really get to connect to our body in a new way. And then we also connect to our stress and our nervous system and the ease of our body. So both of those feelings, right? We're not like, hey, let's create a really heightened stress and let's feel all of it, right? But we also work into feeling what it feels like to feel good in our body. Because if we never allow ourselves to feel good, we're never going to allow ourselves to feel the other side of it, which is not so good. We want to be willing to feel both part of these so that the good actually feels really damn good. And when I'm teaching someone how to actually connect to their body who's been disconnected for years, it's often like it just feels like you walk into a room and you're like, oh, there you are. You're not as scary as I thought you would be, or you're not as far away as I thought you would be, or you're not as uncomfortable as I thought you would be. It's kind of like returning to an old friend that you used to hang out with every day in elementary school, and you just run into her, and it's kind of like old times, and you just pick up on the old conversations, and you start laughing about the same things that you used to laugh about. It's not scary. It's actually very welcoming and very calming. And it's very likely that probably, most women start to disconnect from our bodies in our teen years because that's when we start to be more conditioned to the world around us and telling us how to behave and look and feel in our bodies. But as little girls, we're a lot less conditioned. We're more free in our bodies. And that's kind of what it starts to feel like, is that you walk into that room and that old friend from elementary school is there and you pick up right where you were. So when we're starting to work on feeling our body and also how food feels in our body, many times before we're not even paying attention to, does this food actually fuel my energy? Does this food create less energy for me and actually make me really tired? Does it make me feel bloated? Even if it's a healthy food and I've been forcing myself to eat this food, multiple times a week, and actually it does make me feel like garbage, we don't have to eat that food then. Even if somebody told you it's a great food, maybe it's not a great food for you. And sometimes we'll notice that foods that we've been avoiding for years because someone told us that they were wrong or they were bad actually feel really good in our body. And there's no problem with it. And it gives us energy and we love that food and we want to have that food in our life. And we get to be the decider when we start to connect to the body and create that mind-body connection. So here are some of those signs that I talked about that you might actually have more diet conditioning or perfectionism tendencies than maybe what you thought. Sometimes we think that these tendencies are helping us, but I often see that they're actually hurting us and keeping us stuck where we are. So some signs that you're operating from these rules or perfectionism would be, the typical all or nothing mindset. I feel like that's pretty classic, but notice truly how all or nothing you are in many different areas. Sometimes you just want to start on a Monday. Sometimes you wait for the right season. You might start for January, right? There's always a right time to start. And also you focus on maybe a number on the scale, and that number has a 0 or a 5 attached to it. It has to be one of those two because that feels very right to you. You measure success by how much protein you got in before 10 a.m. You measure success by whether your Apple Watch tells you how many, calories you burned before 8 a.m. and that makes you feel successful. You only celebrate your steps if you get 10,000, but not if you get 9,990 steps, right? Do you see how those rules are keeping you where you are? They're keeping you from moving into the next phase. They're keeping you from celebrating and from feeling your body. And they're keeping you stuck on certain numbers and certain structure and telling you that it must be this way. Let me tell you, my friends, somebody made that up and somebody told you that that was the right way. And I'm here today to tell you that it doesn't have to be that way. It does not have to have strict rules. It does not have to have strict parameters to work. The way it works best is by feeling your body and understanding what your body is asking for you. Having those very strict parameters around numbers is a telltale sign that someone is stuck in the dieting mindset for me. And someone who will only log their foods when they know that they're going to be able to follow through all day long. If they have a donut for breakfast, you avoid logging all day long. You don't want to actually see either the numbers or the food in your food log. You don't want to feel the emotions that are attached to those numbers because you have made that mean something about you. And you will look at it though if you make it mean something else about you. This makes it mean that you're successful, that you're doing it right, that if somebody saw this, that they would think that you're doing all the right things and that you're perfect, you're right, you're worthy, you're lovable, all of those things, right? And but true body autonomy is the real goal here, right? Which means that we are in charge. And when you've developed this and you know how to make decisions differently, you start to trust yourself in your decisions. You actually don't have to micromanage all of your actions throughout the day. You don't have to operate from chaos and hyper control anymore. You get to operate from easefulness and intuitiveness, which is all what we really desire. And we do this by connecting to your body in this process. We're all going about finding this easefulness and intuitiveness the wrong way. We think it'll be a natural side effect of losing weight. We think it'll be a natural side effect of having our hormones just balanced or taking this supplement or following a strict plan or doing these macros. We think that that will be the end game, is that, oh, then I'll be intuitive and I'll feel at ease in my body. body. And that's actually the opposite way that you get there. The way that you get there is with less rules and less structure, and by tuning into your body and understanding what your body's asking of you, and being able to develop the trust to follow through on what your body's asking of you. And even if it is untraditional or something that you've never done before and it feels uncomfortable, but following through and trusting yourself that you can make those decisions. And then also trusting yourself that you can fall flat on your face and learn a lesson, and you can get back up and you can try again. And that is really how you develop that autonomy in your body. And you don't have to be scared of your body. You don't have to be scared of messing up. And you get to develop that easefulness and that playfulness that you really want to have in your day to day. So, who is Mindfully Well really for? Someone who just wants to feel better in her body. And that sounds very generic and very surface level. But when you come to me and you tell me I just don't feel good in my body, you know what this is, right? You know what it's the opposite of what you feel right now. This body does not feel incongruent with who I am. Like, who I am is not what I see in the mirror. Who I am is not how I feel when I sit down. Who I am is not what I feel when I sit down to do work because I have no clear thoughts. Who I am is not who I am being at 5 p.m. with my kids and I want to lose my shit, right? This is someone who simply wants to feel better and be better in her body and her life. You've been stuck in that dieting mindset for years. You're either on or you're off, and you feel like you just can't get your shit together. You probably feel overwhelmed. You feel slightly chaotic. You likely know what to do. You just don't know how to do it consistently. You might have some hormonal imbalances like irregular periods, intense PMS, hot flashes, night sweats, mood swings, brain fog, or that 3 p.m. crash that feels impossible to avoid. You maybe have some gut imbalances and some digestive issues like bloating after every meal, constipation, heartburn, food sensitivities that pop out of nowhere, or that uncomfortable feeling that nothing just sits well in my belly anymore. And for someone who's tried everything, this is actually the perfect thing for you because it's clear that those plans are not working. It's clear that more information is not needed. What you actually need is to understand your unique, beautiful body. And the truth is that nobody can do that for you. And so continuing to seek answers and continuing to invest in coachings and programs and supplements and all of that just to give you one answer, even if it's like, let's say it's customized macro planning, that is not intuitive answers for your body. That's not learning how to listen to your body. That is another Band-Aid approach to try to numb out some symptoms. Nobody can listen to your body besides you. And that's where Mindfully Well comes in because it really teaches you how to have the agency and be able to do that in your own life. Now, I do want to let you know that I have a VIP option that's available for I have only a few spots for VIP. However, I will let you know on your clarity call if they're open, or you'll be able to tell on the website as well. It's optional, and we can discuss more about that. But if you feel like labs are going to help you understand your body more, and you can actually see some hormonal imbalances on paper, see the digestive issues on paper, and it'll give us more of a head start on healing your body, that's something that you can totally do. And for open enrollment in September, there's $200 off the bonus for VIP. And there's also $100 off of the entire program for this month. Mindfully Well is truly focused on helping you create energy and a safe nervous system and a safe body so that you can go out and create those actions consistently that help you feel like you're living in a body that feels like yours. If this is resonating with you, if you're thinking like that's exactly what I need, and also a breath of fresh air, can I get an amen on that? Then I invite you to schedule a clarity call with me. We're going to go through any questions or concerns you have. There will be a form that I'll send you beforehand so that I know where you're at and where you want to be. And then there, I'll help guide you through if Mindfully Well will help you with that or not. Because if you're not the right candidate, that helps nobody. And I'll tell you what, right. This call isn't about convincing you of anything. It's not a sales call. It's just helping you feel totally grounded on your decision to not join or to join, and loving you through whatever decision you make. But here's what I want every woman to know from today's episode is that your body isn't wrong, and your body doesn't hate you, and your body isn't working against you. Your body always has your back. Your body always wants the best for you. Your body loves you unconditionally. And she's just trying to get your attention. Those symptoms, the disconnection, the feeling of not recognizing yourself, that's your body asking for something different. You don't need another strict plan. You don't need restriction. You don't need willpower. You need to come home to yourself. And that journey doesn't have to be lonely, confusing, or another thing that you fail at. So if you're ready to take on this new part of your life of becoming more of you in a body that feels like yours, I invite you to schedule a clarity call with me. The link to do that is in the show notes, or you can head to my website, mindfullywell.com/mindfully -well. And the dash is like a hyphen. It's not the word dash. It's mindfully-well. And I will see you soon on a clarity call. And I hope you enjoyed today's episode. I will see you next week.